Good afternoon, Wildcat families. We are very excited to welcome a new class to the University of Kentucky and welcome back our returning students this fall. Today is Cat Chat Live, one of our favorite times of year where we are bringing in folks from our UK housing area to talk to you about Big Blue Move-In. They have lots of exciting information, tips, tricks, and all of the insights for you. We are going to get started here in just a moment. But in the meantime, if you have any questions for our guests, feel free to put those questions in the comments of this presentation in Facebook, and we'll be able to answer your questions live, either here with our guests, or if we can't answer them right now, we'll make sure to follow up with you after we are finished. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand over the reins to the amazing Sarah Nykirk, who is the Executive Director of Auxiliary Services here at the University of Kentucky. Sarah?
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for having me. I am Sarah Nykirk. I'm the Executive Director of Auxiliaries, and with me today is Ashley Reed, who is the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Assessments here at the University of Kentucky. And we've made a few slides that we think will be helpful to you as you transition your son or daughter to campus. I would like to start by saying I've worked in housing for a long, long time. And if you know me, you know that there's one thing that I love to talk about and work on, and that is move-in. And move-in is very special to all of us that work so hard on our process here at the university. Obviously, because it's important that we have a lot of folks who are moving to campus, we want to make sure that we worked on all of the logistics and the timing of things. But more importantly, it's really important to those of us who work on move-in because we know what an important time it is to families. For parents, it's bittersweet. You know, you're very proud of your son or daughter. You know, you are excited for their future, but maybe a tad bit sad. And then for your students, they're really excited, but say too that they may be a bit scared or frightened. So we love being right in the middle of all of that because we want to make sure that when we welcome your family, that we're doing so with great care, and we work on our move-in process because we really do want it to be special. At UK, we don't just say that we put your sons and daughters first. We have spent $4.4 billion in transforming our campus in the last 12 years. We believe the residence halls are the front door of our campus, if you will. You can walk out, get to class, free tutoring, campus dining, athletic events. Everything is right outside your front door. Now, move-in dates this year are August 13th through the 16th, and the first appointment is at 9 a.m. and the last appointment is at 4. And we have sent your sons and daughters an email asking them to create their move-in appointment. That move-in appointment is a half-hour window where we want them to show up, where we can unload them in that half-hour time frame. Now, obviously, you're not going to get moved in a half hour, but that half hour time is there for you to arrive, be greeted, help us unload you and start that process. So if you, speak to your family member, make sure the first thing you ask them is, have you created your move-in appointment? And if not, please do so. Now we Nancy or Hickey's got a question.
Hi, sorry. We have a couple of questions that have come in that I think we could answer just really quickly. The first one is about how students figure out what room number they have in their room. If they are kind of uncertain as to where to find which actual room number they have, where would they go for that information?
That information is in their housing assignment. It is also in their housing portal. So if they click back into their housing application, it will share with them which room number, which side they're on. And obviously, as they check in to the residence hall, if at that point they have a question, someone can help them right there at check-in as well.
Great, thanks so much.
So we put together these 5 steps, if you will, because basically, if you follow these 5 steps, we think your transition to campus will be much smoother. So the first thing we want to remind you is pack in these stackable plastic containers, if at all possible. And the reason being is one, they stack nicely. You can bring more that way. The more compact you pack, the more your move-in is going to go well once you get here. And obviously, it is Kentucky in August, and so sometimes we have rain. And if you pack in these plastic containers, your items are covered. We also ask that if you live within 3 hours of Lexington, to possibly not bring everything on that, first trip, if you will. And the reason we say that is we know that you'll have the opportunity to come home. If there are items that you didn't bring your first go round, you can bring them back. And plus, it just helps you get to know your roommate. It may be good that you're not bringing 2 things and those kinds of things. So we encourage you not to bring everything that first trip, if at all possible. Now, driving to campus, we know that you know how to get to UK's campus. You've probably been here for your orientation. You possibly could have been here for an athletic event, but we ask that you turn off your GPS and your Waze. And the reason we do that is move-in traffic becomes one way on move-in days. And so if you're following your GPS or your Waze or your Google Maps, they could bring you into campus in a way that would put you in a traffic quagmire. And so it's very important that you follow your move-in routes. And there is a building specific route on our website. We'll talk a bit more about that. And there's signage available that will help you go to your color-coded route. There are also traffic controllers that will be posted in the streets, as well as UK police officers to be there to help you, guide you through the traffic process. And then once you're on campus, there is someone there who will help unload you and direct you through all of the next steps. So once you come to your unloading area, there will be staff there. I think you see the Wildcat here in the picture. Even he has been known to move a few folks in, but basically there will be staff and volunteers that will welcome you. They'll help you unload your belongings onto tables right away. So once you've unloaded your car and we welcome you and we have everything out, the next thing we do is we ask you to move your vehicle. And the reason we do that is we want this unloading zone to stay free so we can continue to unload folks, get them as close to the residence halls as possible, because obviously we want you to have as few steps as possible. So when you unload, there will be a parking place for your residence hall. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. We never want your car to be left unattended. So it's very important that once you drive up, we unload you. One person will stay with the belongings and then one person will move that car. Then moving in, after we've unloaded you, your student will run in the door and check in. And when they do that, obviously, when they go, if they'll take a load with them, it's just, going to help them get that process started. So when we say check in, we want you to swipe, go back out, get a full load, and then start that process into your residence hall. Then just a recap of those things that we just shared. Please pack in plastic containers. The more compact you pack, the more you think about that, it's just going to flow a lot better. Bring a dolly or cart if you have one at home. We have lots of carts here on campus that we loan out, but obviously we have a lot of people that are moving in. And so if you have a cart or dolly and can throw it in your car, it's just going to make your process quicker and easier for you. A reminder again, turn off the Google Maps, the GPS. I see that Nikki has a question, so I'm going to pause.
Thanks, Sarah. We've had a number of questions come in that I think a couple of them you're going to answer here in a minute, but I wanted to clarify how many cars families can bring to move in.
We typically recommend that you bring a maximum of 2 cars. Obviously, sometimes that's not, what your family can do for whatever reason, but most everyone keeps it to 2 cars. And basically sometimes, mom and dad have all of the belongings in the truck. Son or daughter has a vehicle that they have a few things in. They're going to want to move their vehicle to its parking place that it's going to be at all throughout the year. And so about 2 is what we recommend.
And then if a student doesn't have a parking pass throughout the year, then where will they park, and will they have to pay for parking during move-in?
So yes, most everyone that lives on campus will have to have a parking pass of some type. And so if for some reason mom or dad obviously are not going to have a parking location, right? So they're coming as a guest. During move-in days, we have parking locations for each residence hall. And as we go through the move-in routes and the color-coded routes, I'll talk about the way that process works. But basically, you'll unload and you'll go to your parking area. If you're on Central Campus, you'll ride a bus back to your res hall, a shuttle back, and we'll talk more about that. We do have hall code cards that we ask for you to hang in your rear view mirror. We mailed those to you this past week, so hopefully everyone has received their hall code card, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. And then again, we ask that you try to arrive on campus in that half-hour window of that move-in time frame that your son or daughter selected. And then follow the directions for your specific unloading route.
And then would you mind clarifying one more time for families? I think there's some confusion over what happens if they bring 2 cars. Let's say a student brings a car and mom and dad bring a car and they unload it. Does the student stay with their items while a parent or a family member moves the vehicle? Is there someone there to help them? What would that process look like?
And those are really smart questions. Basically, it can happen a number of ways. Usually there's 3 people that come to campus, maybe mom or dad or an aunt or a family member comes with a son, a brother, someone comes with them. Usually what happens is there's always someone who can stay. It doesn't have to be the student. It can be mom or dad that moves the car, or if they prefer, the parent can stay with the belongings while the son or daughter moves the cars. But basically, you'll just want to move them as quickly as possible and then get back to the res hall to help them get in the hall and get settled.
Now, I know you're going to go a little into details about where to park and what that process looks like. So we have a lot of questions coming in, families. Those answers are coming here in a minute. But one last question about what types of vehicles families can bring. Can they bring trailers with them? Can they bring any other types of vehicles to move their students' items
Yes.
yes.
So we're prepared for that. Obviously, we wouldn't want everybody to bring a big trailer, or that might be, be a traffic congestion issue. But, we do have small trailers that fit on the back of, SUVs or trucks that people pull. And so what happens is as you drive up to that unloading route, there's going to be a traffic controller that's going to greet you. They're going to ask how many cars are with your family. So they're going to greet you. Hey, Nikki, I see that you're coming to Pigman Hall. How many cars are with you? Then Nikki's going to point to the car behind them and say, that's my daughter. And we're going to say hello to her. Then we're going to call out to someone up ahead and say 2 for Pigman. Then they're going to look at your vehicles. They're going to know if you have a trailer or not. They're going to look at the spaces available now in that unloading zone, and they're going to put you together so you can park together, so your items, when they're unloaded, are unloaded directly onto those tables right there together to keep all of your items, right there for you. And so then I think we're to step 4. Once you move your vehicle, we say that, we don't like for you to leave your things on a table by themselves, but I can promise I've been working on move-in for 34 years. And in my 34 years, we have never had anything stolen. One time there was a laptop that came up missing. Obviously, a parent was really upset, thought somebody had accidentally picked up the laptop or maybe had taken it. We filed a police report. We were really upset and worried about it. 2 hours later, here comes this, person is like, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to, but I took 2 laptops and they actually returned it. It is the most honest day of the year because so many people bring so much that they just really want to make sure that they get their items, and everybody is there for the right reason. They want everybody's experience to be pleasant. So people are working, together and making it fun. And then that last step 5, I see your hand up.
Sorry. Just to clarify one more question. So once you everyone has driven up and they have unloaded their vehicles onto the tables, the student goes to check in while the families move the cars. Do the items stay out on the tables, or are they in the lobby while the student is checking in?
It could be a number of ways depending on the hall and how close those tables are to the residence hall front door. But typically the way it works is we'll unload you onto the tables and carts directly. So we'll actually get you and your son or daughter a load to go into the residence hall as you check in. Sometimes there's a few things left on the table, but the folks outside working that area get to know folks as they move in. And so say you're moving in, I'm like, hello, Ashley, how are you? I get to know you. I know dad is moving the truck. I know mom is going with you. And we just work out a process to watch your belongings until you go right back up. Because basically when you take your items to your room, you're not really decorating your room at that point. You're just running up to your room, you're unloading, you're bringing your cart right back, and then we're getting you that final load. And as you unload all of your belongings, you're always bringing the carts back so someone else can have them. And so, yes. And then finally you check in and you move into your room. So we talked about the hall code cards. Everyone should have received a color-coded card that matches the color-coded route for your student. And so if you didn't receive it for some reason, or maybe you're bringing 2 cars and there was only 1 hall code card mailed to you, no worries. Just print out a second one. It can be white, and then hang that hall code card on your rear view mirror as you approach campus. This way, your traffic coordinator is going to see that there's 2 cars together, you're coming to campus, And here's a perfect example of, you're coming to Blazer Hall or Ball Hall. And we're going to know that by the area you're going to, and your color-coded route is going to help us get you in the right queue. All right, so this year we have 2 move-in maps. We have our Sunday move-in map, and then we have our Monday move-in map. So this map is for the folks who are moving in on Sunday. Most everyone who's coming to campus on Sunday will be moving in to Jewell and Blazer Hall and Holmes Hall on North Campus. And so you'll see that the route to these halls will be off Maxwell. They'll come in Lexington Avenue. They'll unload right on Lexington Avenue. And one of the people that come with, the group will move that vehicle to parking structure 5. And you'll see that on the map. Right here by the Gatton Student Center. It's the Cornerstone Garage is parking structure 5. So you'll unload on Lexington Avenue or unload right there on the Avenue of Champions, and you'll go directly to the Cornerstone Garage. Then once you, moved your vehicle, then you will walk back to your res hall that you're meeting your family member at, and then you'll go right in and help them get settled and decorated. Now, the other hall that is primarily going to be the busy halls on Sunday will be Ball and Children Hall. And so you'll see that there's a lot of different color codes that are coming down University Drive. You'll see the pink, the green, the blue, the red, and the orange. But you're going to want to pay attention to the green route if you're coming to Ball and Children Hall. You'll move in right there on Woodland Avenue. On Sunday, because employees are not here, you will have the luxury to park in a lot of the parking lots around those residence halls. So you will basically be able to unload and go directly to those parking. We'll be able to direct you directly to those parking lots. So there's like 4 or 5 right around that area, and we will direct you. There is also a parking structure 7 at the end of Sports Center Drive that will also be available to those moving in on Sunday. And so that's going to help everyone get in, get to their parking space, and get to back into the residence hall with their student. There is a sprinkling of others coming into other halls that day, but the primary focus those days are going to be Blazer, Jewell, Ball, and Children, with a few sprinkled in everywhere else. Yes, ma'am.
For families who, well, first of all, where can families find these maps?
These maps are going to be on our website. So we have a website for move-in specifically. So if you go to the UK Housing website and you click on the Prospective Students tab, right to your right is a big blue move-in link. And on that big blue move-in link, it has lots of tips. The maps are on here, lots of frequently asked questions, when's the bookstore open, all of those kinds of things that sort of help you. So these maps are located there.
Okay, and as far as the parking passes, if they did not receive a parking pass or they haven't received it, where else can they find a parking pass?
So their hall code card is also on the website. So every hall has a hall code card on that website as well. So you can download that hall code card, print it off, and put it on your vehicle. So everything you need will be on the website. So our next big move-in map is for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So Monday, our LLP students will move in. They will move in lots of different locations. We have about 2,000 folks participating in our living learning program. And so they will be coming in everywhere. Pigman Hall is our engineering hall. It's a huge day there, but you will follow your color-coded route. So for instance, if you're moving into Ingalls Hall, I'm just going to give a couple of examples. You will come down Cooper, you will turn left on University, and then you will take a right on Sports Center Drive and unload right there at Ingalls Hall. Conversely, if you're coming into the green route again to Ball and Chilgren, same thing. You'll come up Cooper, you'll take a left on University, you'll stay in the lane for University, you'll take a right on Hilltop, and you'll unload right there on Woodland Avenue. Then for blue route, Donovan and Johnson, you'll take Cooper, you'll come down University, you'll stay in the blue color-coded route for Donovan and Johnson. You'll go up past into the library loop. You'll make that loop, you'll come back, you'll be in the right-hand lane heading south on University Drive, and you'll unload right there. And then lastly here, Hagen Hall, you'll be coming up in the red color route. You'll come up Cooper again to University, take a left, and then you'll take a left on Euclid, and you will unload right in front of your residence hall. So basically, every residence hall has a color-coded route, and it has color-coded signs that help you get to your residence hall. There will be traffic controllers in the streets wearing safety vests, as well as UK police officers that can help answer questions. Then on Central Campus, what you will do is you will unload your belongings, and then you will travel either down Woodland Avenue to the Avenue of Champions, around to Alumni, and you will get on a shuttle at Gate 9. That shuttle will start at 8:30 in the morning, and it will run till 7 p.m. on a continuous loop. So basically, you'll unload, someone will take the vehicle, they'll go all the way around the circle, they'll go to Gate 9, they'll get in a shuttle. We have lots of them running all day, and they run on about a 15-minute route. I always tease one parent and say, you really got the good job. By the time you come back, they will probably be inside their residence hall, already started to decorate. So one person will ride the bus back. On North Campus, the same thing we talked about Sunday. If you're moving to North Campus, you're going to take Maxwell to Martin Luther King. If you're moving in Boyd or Roselle or Holmes, you're going to take Lexington Avenue if you're moving into Blazer or Jewel. And then once you're unloaded and have all of your items on a table, you're going to move your car to the Cornerstone Garage. And so this process has worked out really well for us over the years. We get compliments like, boy, it's a well-oiled machine. You all have really thought this through. And we really have. I mean, when you're moving in that many people, you want all of the signs, the maps, the logistics, the carts, all of that well thought out. And we believe that we do a good job of that. The police will be in a location where they can watch the streets of Lexington. And so they know if traffic gets backed up, and they communicate with those of us on the streets to let us know, any concerns. And so we stay well connected all over campus. Yes.
All right. So I agree. I've seen this happen many times, and it is a well-oiled machine. And so for families, as they're thinking about how to plan for this process, what time would you suggest them getting into line in order to make their 30-minute appointment?
Yeah, and I think, that really depends on where they're coming from, right? If you're coming, from a great distance or out of state, obviously that planning has, sometimes you have flight arrangements and those kinds of things. So it's difficult to share, but I can promise you, it is our goal that once you get to your unloading zone and you met that half-hour appointment, we're unloading you quickly. We want to greet you, unload you, get your items out of that car, and help you on that process so we can just keep that part of the process really going quickly, because basically we want you inside the air conditioning, in the comfort of your residence hall room with your student, being able to go through belongings, getting things settled. We don't want you out on the street. So, I've not been asked that question, to be really honest. I think that it's more of a planning thing. If you're coming from Lexington, obviously you would leave a lot later than you would if you're coming from, Texas. So it's hard to determine. But I would say that I certainly wouldn't want to, you're not going to be in a long line. You're not going to be in a long line. This process is going to work. We're going to have enough people out there to unload you and welcome you. That unless, some kind of traffic accident happens, which of course we can't prevent, and or a weather-related event happens, we're going to be able to unload you in that half-hour window and keep this process going.
For families who maybe their students have morning appointments, and so they get them all moved in and they're all good, and then they go that afternoon and maybe they make a Kroger run, or they load up with more items that they need to drop off at the residence halls. Do they need to get back in line during move-in in order to drop their items off at the residence halls?
Good question, Hecky. And I tease and say that by the end of the week, I know everybody by name. So like you've driven up and I've met you, Nikki, and I've met your son or daughter, welcomed your student, and then you've gone in and gotten settled. You come back out and say, hey, Sarah, where is Target? Where is Kroger? Where is whatever? We have someone in an information tent that will be able to give you directions. Yes, that shuttle will run until 7 p.m. So you can get back on a shuttle right there at your residence hall, go back, get in your vehicle, run out to Kroger, run out to Target, go to the UK bookstore, do whatever you want, and still have plenty of time on that second run to come back. You will unload that second, sometimes third time, right in front of the rest hall. And a lot of times what happens is families will come in, say on a Monday, they'll move their, family member in that Monday, they'll go in, they'll get settled, and then maybe overnight, someone will think, oh golly, I wish I had this, or I wish I had that. Then they'll bring those items back the second or third day. So yes, good question. We'll welcome you in those unload zones any time during move-in and be glad to see you.
So just to clarify for families, that 30-minute window is the time slot that we would love for you to come. That's the way that we spread out move-in, right? And that's the window that we would like for you to shoot for. If you, are 10 minutes late or 10 minutes early, we will get you moved in. So please do not worry about that. I'm speaking on behalf of Sarah because I know that's what she would say. The other piece is just to clarify parking during move-in. If your student is going to be living on North Campus, they're going to be parking at the Cornerstone Garage. That is at the corner of Avenue of Champions and South Limestone. If they are parking on Central or South Campus, they are going to be parking out of the football stadium, and there will be a shuttle that will bring you back to the residence halls. There will be a lot of people there to help you, to direct you. This should not be a stressful process for you. So everyone take a deep breath. It's going to be great. It's going to be
right.
cool.
That's right. We work so hard to make sure that it's not stressful. Obviously, it is August in Kentucky, so it's hot and those kinds of things. But all the things that we can control, we do our best to control.
Absolutely. Parking is free for move-in, right? So don't worry about that. You'll just need to either download your parking pass from the UK's website, or you may have received one in the mail. Either way is perfectly fine. Those are the hall code cards that Sarah showed you a minute ago. I think that covers most of the questions we've had so far up to this point. So I'll let Sarah continue with her presentation.
So here's your move-in route for your respective halls. So say you're coming to Lewis Hall or University Flats. This is the route that you would, print out as well, or, have on your phone to follow. There is an interactive map and link, and so you can do that as well. But so you have the big move-in map that has all the routes on it, but then you also have access to each route that brings you right into your campus. You'll see that mobile interactive map link at the top of the map page. And so that's something you can click on and actually watch as you're coming to campus. You'll also see that there's a phone number at the bottom of the route. There are police and administrators that are in an office that are watching the streets. There's someone from our UKPR office. If for some reason somebody gets lost or those kinds of things, I don't think you'll get lost, but obviously if you've got a question or concern, we're always happy to take your questions. Okay.
Really quickly, for families who maybe need handicap parking during move-in, where would they go?
So there is handicap parking available on campus. Obviously I would encourage you to work with the transportation office in advance, to work that out. Obviously, if it's a student that has the disability, they would work with our DRC, our Disability Resource Center, to, prior to coming to campus to work out those accommodations. But yes, ma'am, we do work hard to make sure that if someone has, some kind of thing that would prevent them from following the normal process, we work with them in advance. So just reminders again, if you live within 3 hours, don't bring everything you own. I tease and say that when my daughter moved to campus, I think she had 20 pink pillows. I was like, Grace, we don't need to bring all of those on our first trip. But, it's hard to tell them not to, but I can promise you from someone who's helped move in tens of thousands of students, the more compact you pack, the easier this day will go for you. Watch the weather. I want to talk about weather just a bit. Weather will, our move-in process will happen rain or shine. I've worked in move-in when it's been a pouring down rain. As you'll see, there's umbrellas here. You'll see the plastic that we have out covering people's belongings. So weather doesn't stop us, but do be prepared for that. So if you have a tarp available that you want to bring, that's awesome. Those plastic totes are really helpful. We'll have plastic sheeting available too. But one thing to keep in mind is our UK police officer has a meteorologist that they work with every day on campus to watch our campus and to keep us safe. So if there's a tornado warning or a storm coming up where there's thunder or lightning, they will ask us to secure in place. So say you pull up and the lightning strikes. I'm going to get a call, as well as the other lead coordinators in the street, asking me to have people wait in their cars until that storm passes. Or say you're already out of the residence hall. We're going to do everything we can cover your belongings to keep them safe, but we're going to ask you to go ahead and get inside the residence hall to keep you safe. So life safety is paramount. It's always our first priority. So we will work hard to watch the weather, but you do too, because I think it's just helpful to you. Then again, look for the traffic controllers, the police, especially those in the safety vest. They'll be stopping you, asking you how many cars you have together. Again, plan to arrive in that half-hour window. To Nancy's point, if you're 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late, we're still going to receive you. Just do your best to follow this, because when people follow the move-in process, their experience is better for everyone. So, don't think, oh, well, I don't have to, worry about that. Well, if you don't worry and nobody else worries, and then everybody comes at the same time, it's just not a good, housing experience or move-in experience. Again, you'll be greeted by volunteers who will help you unload. We suggest that if you can, one guest stay with belongings while the others move the car. Obviously, sometimes that doesn't, you simply don't have someone who can do that. It's okay. Somebody there that is working the unload process will help you. And then finally, we do have a lot of carts available, and students love our carts. But if you have a cart or a dolly, please bring one. So things to know. We do have no parking areas during move-in. And the reason being is we never want to tow someone, but we have to have these unloading zones available right in front of the residence halls in order to receive you. So this week we'll be putting out large signs reminding folks that there are certain streets that will become one-way or unload zones, and you simply can't park here during that move-in process. If you do, you'll be towed. But we do a really good job of communicating with our Res Life staff about this. We make sure that everybody knows where those zones are. We communicate, often and in a big way, because we certainly don't want anyone to get towed, but we want you to know these unload zones are there for you to get you as close to your res halls as possible. Then if you, for some reason, you had your UK ID made, but you weren't able to pick it up. Maybe you didn't get to come to your orientation, or maybe you made it late in the day and wasn't able to pick it up. UK IDs will be available at the residence hall. Most people have them, but the last time I checked, there were about 500 people that weren't able to pick those up. Those will be distributed to the residence halls, and you will be able to get them. Now, say there's a one-off reason why you get to the residence hall, your UK ID is not there, you weren't able to pick it up. No fret. We have temporary IDs and cards that can get you in and out of your residence hall for a day or two until we can get that ID made. So don't want you to fret on that. Now, we want you to know that it is August. It's going to be hot. Bring a refillable bottle. We're going to have hydration stations across our campus where you can come, go get a fresh bottle of water. And inside each residence hall is also a refillable bottle station where you can get a bottle of water there. It's important to remember that K-Week starts on the 16th, and we want everyone to attend this wonderful week that Nancy and Nikki and many others have spent a lot of hard work planning. I hear wonderful things about it every year. It's just a special time to get oriented to the campus. And so it's important that you have that marked on your calendar and that you encourage your student to attend. Dining plans will start August 13th. And so it's important to know that as soon as your son or daughter moves to campus, their meal plan begins to work, and they'll be able to have meals. And then again, that one reminder that one guest should stay with belongings if possible while someone else moves the vehicle. All right, lots of hydration stations on our campus. So we take really seriously our sustainability efforts. So if you have that refillable bottle, you'll see that all of these droplets of water are places all over our campus. You can run in and take your refillable bottle and get a nice cold bottle of water. No parking zones. Again, it's really important that say your son or daughter moves in on Sunday the 13th. Well, they've gone back out to Kroger or Target that night, or, maybe the mall, wherever. If they come in late at night and they pull up to one of these locations and they park there overnight, unfortunately, we would have to have them towed, because these are the unloading zones that we use every day for the entire move-in process. So it's really important that students, faculty, and staff pay attention to these no parking zones. What to bring. I think a lot of people, have been shopping for months, I'm sure, and know exactly what to bring. I think that you'll find that, the residence halls are really, really nice. And I think you'll be able to work with your roommate to know, not to bring maybe 2 TVs or, 2 printers or 2 rugs or those kinds of things, because it might be that you could use one. Obviously, that's a conversation that you'll want to have with your roommate, but your linen sizes are here as well. I think everybody knows that information. And then again, once again, we'd love for you to visit our move-in page at wildcatliving.uky.edu, Big Blue Move, for a recommended list of other items that you might want to bring. And then finally, the not what to brings. We tell you not to bring these things only because we want you to stay safe. We're fortunate that we have a fire marshal that oversees our campus, and these are things that our fire marshal tells us that we cannot have in order to keep the UK campus community safe. And so you'll see that if you bring these items, obviously at some point, either at move-in or very shortly after that, we'll have to be asking you to relocate them. Yes.
Okay, we've had a number of questions come up, and I was waiting for this slide so that I could ask you all the questions at once, if that's okay. When you talk about, on this list, it says no pets. Can you specify, are fish or hamsters considered on that list?
Fish are allowed. Hamsters would have to go through the DRC, the Disability Resource Center. If someone has an emotional support animal or a service animal, all those need to be registered through our Disability Resource Center. And that's not only helpful for you, but it's helpful for the pet. You get good information about, how to take care of the pet and ways in which you can accommodate and live with others with a pet. So yes, pets are allowed, but only if they're registered and approved through our Disability Resource Center.
Great. Now, as far as hanging things on the walls, can you nail anything into the walls?
So obviously, we want to make sure that whatever you use in your residence hall room, we say the teeny tiny painter nails, the ones that are so fine, they're easy to use because they don't make, big, huge holes. We also say the 3M, what are they called? The command strips. They're nice too. The command strips, though, the trick on those is there is a way to apply them and a way to take them off. So taking great care in making sure that when you use those 3M strips, that when you go to take them off, you're not pulling the drywall off or the paint off the wall, because if you do, obviously there would be a damage charge to go along with that. If for some reason you've got, a question or something's sort of bothering you, like I really want to hang this, but I don't want to do it wrong, and I certainly don't want to be charged, the best thing to do is to ask your RA if there's a maintenance person in the building at that time. We are going to have maintenance out during move-in, so they can answer, questions like that. If you have a specific question about how to hang something, there will be someone in your hall that can, help you right away.
Great. And what about electric kettles? So if somebody wanted to make hot tea, can they bring electric kettles?
Yeah, so coffee pots are allowed and kettles are allowed. Obviously, the hot pot isn't. So, you would want to make sure, like, if your tea is much like your coffee maker, there won't be a problem. The big problem with these cooking devices is they don't like the big open flame, if you will, or open element things that could potentially cause a fire.
And then speaking of fires, there's a question about the lampshades, plastic lampshades with LED lights. So if they're using an LED light bulb, can they use a plastic lampshade?
Yeah, so great question. We do not allow the plastic lampshades. Unfortunately, I just wish that I could call all the Walmarts and the Targets and the department stores across the country and say, quit selling those to parents, they can't have them. But basically, they're not safe. Those bulbs get really hot and can melt those plastic shades.
And for families who are asking about ceiling fans, there are not ceiling fans in the halls, correct?
There are ceiling fans in all of the rooms. There are not ceiling fans in the B and C sides of the triad spaces, but there are ceiling fans in the rooms.
Okay, got it. And then for any rooms that have the bunk beds, is there a safety railing on the top bunk?
Every bed will have a safety railing in the front of the bed and the back of the bed.
Okay, great. We're getting through all of these questions. And then for families who are bringing things that maybe they need to put together, maybe they have cardboard or trash, will there be trash disposal dumpsters available for families during the move-in process?
Right. Great question again. We love those folks who take sustainability serious. We have recycling bins and compactors available outside all around the residence halls. And so there will actually be someone there breaking down cardboard, making sure that the trash is being well maintained throughout that move-in experience. And actually, sometimes in certain areas, we'll even bring an extra roll-off to accommodate the extra trash.
Great. And then for students who are moving into a suite, right, suite style, how will they know which room is theirs?
It's part of their housing assignment, so they'll know if they're on the A or B side. It's in their housing assignment, and it actually tells you, like, Nikki is in 323A, or Nikki's in 323B, or so all of that information is in your housing assignment.
Great.
If you have a question, though, say you move in and you're still, not certain, be sure and ask at check-in, say, here's my room assignment. I believe I'm in bed A. Please show me, where I can find this.
Gotcha. And then for families maybe who are coming from out of state or from far away, can they mail move-in items to the residence hall prior to move-in?
We don't allow you to do that before move-in, just because there's simply not enough room or real estate for us to store everyone's belongings. There are a lot of local companies near Lexington that will allow you to ship directly to them. So yes, that's a great question, but that's not an accommodation that we've been able to manage, simply because we don't have the space to do it.
And then to clarify with families, when you're moving your students in and you're asking specifically about the carts that we have available, those are shopping carts, correct?
Well, we have about 5 or 6 styles of shopping carts. In fact, we bought some new carts this year that are much like a cart that you would see at the post office. You've seen those big kind of basket carts that are on coasters. We bought a number of those this particular year. We do have Kroger and Sam's carts. We have what we call marina carts. They're the kind with the big wheels on the back and the smaller wheel on the front, so you can kind of pick it up like an umbrella and roll it. We have what you call a 2-tier cart. So sometimes you'll see those at Lowe's or Home Depot, where you can put your plants on the top and, you know, maybe something else on the you know, so over the years, we've acquired a different, you know, carts, really trying to find the ones that we think are most efficient. But the most carts we have are the Kroger carts. Yes, ma'am.
Great. And then just for clarification, one more question about bunk beds. We know they'll have the safety railing, but they're asking about a ladder to the top bunk. Will there be a ladder provided?
Yes, so there is a ladder provided for the bunk beds, as well as both sides of the bed can act as a ladder. So depending on where you situate that, you know, bunk bed in your room, you can either use the back side of the bed as your ladder, or there will be one provided, and it's movable. So I can take it off if I want, I can move it to one side if I want. So there's some flexibility in the ladders.
And can students unbunk those bunk beds if they want to?
They cannot. The bunk beds must stay bunked. All right, the no fridge needed. So every room has a micro fridge in it. It is part of your residence hall room. The beauty of the micro fridge is that it's a shared power, if you will. So when the microwave is on, it takes most of the power. When it's off, the refrigerator is, you know, getting the rest of that electrical bandwidth, if you will. And so the reason we say no micro fridges available, obviously, if everyone brought one, there would simply not be the bandwidth to have all of the micro fridges work, as well as all of, you know, the electrical appliances and things that folks bring. So yes, no refrigerators provided. Oh, no, they are provided. You can't bring one. No visitation from August 11th through the 16th. And when we say that, that means, you know, people can't come and visit you during the move-in process, but families can visit every day until 8 p.m. every evening. So in other words, Nikki moves in with her family on Monday. They stay to 8 o'clock on Monday. Tuesday, they go out to lunch. They maybe do that Kroger Target tour. They're going to want to come back in and maybe help put up a curtain or something they didn't do the day before. They're free to do that every day until 8 p.m. Families are welcome. Regular visitation will begin on August 17th. And then finally, we work really hard to make sure every room is ready. So maintenance has gone in every room, housekeeping has gone in every room. And we believe that when you walk in your room, it's going to be ready to go and it's going to be very nice and just the way you need it. Obviously, if for some reason we've missed something, or if you get in a light bulb for whatever reason went out since the last maintenance person was in there, you can submit a fix-it request 24/7 on our campus, 365 days out of the year. And you can do that by going to the online form or by calling. We recommend, if it's not an emergency, that you use the online form. But obviously, if it's something and you need someone to come to your room right away, that you give us a call and we will get someone out to your room ASAP. And then finally, there's a lot of people that work on our move-in process. So it's a big table group, if you will, our police department, our transportation department, our residence life team, our dining folks, just a lot of people come together to work on this annually. It means a lot to a lot of people, but we want you to have our contact information. So should you have, a question, a concern, you can reach us anytime, and we're always happy to hear from parents and their students.
Sarah, I have a list of some quick answer questions, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. There's nothing I love more than talking about move-in.
Great. All right. When the student checks in and they get their key, is it a physical key or is it a key with their ID?
It's usually a key with their ID. Some residence halls is actually, their card swipe. Some have both, but they will get a card for their room, a key for their room.
Great. Can family members see their rooms prior to their move-in time to take measurements?
So during BBNO, we had the opportunity to allow everyone to come into a model room, and measurements and those kinds of things were provided. There are model room diagrams that are on the website that we think are helpful. And so I don't think you would need to come into your specific residence hall room, but you would have the opportunity to see those diagrams and everything on site, on our website.
Should families expect that they need to clean the rooms before their students unpack?
You should not have to clean your room. I will tell you, I'm a neat freak. I brought cleaning supplies when I came and did a little wipe down here or there, but it truly should not be needed. If you walk into your residence hall room and for some reason it's not in the condition you think it should be, that's where you call that fix-it number and we'll get somebody up right away.
We always have a little joke with families that we during orientation where we say clean means different things to different people, right? And so what clean is for you. So if you feel like you want to do an extra clean just to be safe for your student, you are welcome to do that. But they should be move-in ready when they arrive, right?
Absolutely.
Does UK provide some starter toilet paper for students? We know students are going to have to bring their own, but is there some there when they arrive?
Starter toilet paper. There should be some when they arrive. And there is a public restroom in every residence hall as well.
Great. And will students have free Wi-Fi and cable and in the residence hall? And if so, do they need to bring any wires or cords with them to access those features?
So there is free cable and free Wi-Fi in and around the residence halls. Obviously, the further away from your res hall you are, you know, the Wi-Fi may not work in those areas, but typically, you know, right in the residence hall, that Wi-Fi is part of, you know, your room rate.
And then are there any big ice machines in any of the residence halls for students to use?
There is an ice machine in each residence hall. And as I say that, I want to verify that, Hickey. I am 98% sure that's the truth, but I will verify that and get that out to you. So that's something that you can post.
And we have a question up here about iPads that I think I might be able to answer. So iPads will be picked up during K-Week. So if you're worried about moving in and getting your iPad on the same day, don't worry about that. They will be able to access those iPads during K-Week. So one thing at a time, don't let it stress you out too much.
And my last thing that I would share, Hickey, is that, you know, there is a lot of emotion going on. As I said at the beginning, you know, it's bittersweet for family, such a special time. You're so proud of your son or daughter, you know, you want them to be so successful, and yet you're sad, and they're, you know, really excited and maybe scared too. I tell everyone that I train that works on move-in is, you know, let's make this day fun. Let's make it fun for our students. Let's have a good time. So when we look back on this, we'll have, you know, a lot of joy that comes with that memory. So if I had one bit of advice, it would be, you know, pack well and come with, you know, the intent that it's going to be a special day and that it's going to be one for the memories.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much. This was so much great information. I know that we did not get to every single question because there were a lot of them today, which is great. And we're so excited about that. But if we did not get to your question, we will respond. It might be that we need to just verify the answer, but we will respond and let you know through the comments. So please bear with us as we get to all of those comments. This video has been recorded and we will post it to Facebook and to YouTube. It'll be available in a number of different areas for you to watch. And if you have additional questions that we didn't get to today, you're welcome to email parents@uky.edu, or you can email UK Housing, and they would be happy to help answer those questions for you. We appreciate you being here today. We hope that you enjoy the last few days, it feels at this point, before your student moves onto campus. We could not be more excited to have them here and know that this is going to be a really fun and exciting time for the whole family. So we hope that you've enjoyed this session, and we will see you very, very soon. Go Cats!
Bye, everyone. Stay safe.